Coming up, energy saving in Germany, oil spill in Dalian, green revolution.
Hello and welcome to Green Voices, a weekly program co-produced by the Ministry of Environmental Protection of China and Xinhua News Agency. I'm Xingshan in Beijing. Dr. Hu Tao from Policy Research Center at the Ministry of Environmental Protection of China is here to help us navigate our way through the environmental headlines from around the world. Thank you for being here, Dr. Hu.
Hi.
It's no secret the development and use of renewable resources can largely affect the progress of civilization. Cities around the world have realized that and have made significant changes as they continue to grow and expand. Let's first look at the 10 most livable green cities in the world. Doctor, we have just seen the 10 most livable cities in the world. Why do you think they have been elected as the 10 most livable cities?
Based on my own experiences, living probably in one of the livable cities, like Eugene, Oregon, U.S., what I found the citizens are very responsible for the environment. And of course, the government has a good governance system to support, to protect the environment. This is one hand. Another hand, what I found from the large scale, globalized, the large scale, and what I found the livable city, good environment in the cities actually more or less rely on the others to support them, support the high quality of life. I noticed the cities, the most livable 10 cities, basically they don't produce, they only consume what the products are rely on other countries like China and other developing countries. China actually producing a lot of commodities, not only for itself, for the world. However, the pollutions are still remaining in China. The products are exporting to other countries, to the livable city for them to consume. I would say that's also another picture of livable city.
But in this way, these 10 livable cities or some other livable cities seems to be not so responsible because they have those developing cities like China to have been going under through the pollution. It's their choices. Also, somehow it's the developing countries' choices. The exporting a lot of such a kind of commodities to the countries, to the cities, they bear the environment cost. That's a choice. That's, I think, I would say, to be honest, that's also in the past 30 years China's development path. Right now, China is so-called have a new concept of scientific development. China is trying to change the economic development approach. China is going to change the economy mode. That's why we're thinking in the future China should gradually change such a kind of situation, not to bear the environmental cost, to bear the low labor cost, to export the commodity to the rest of the world. China should keep balance. Should be sustainable, its own economy from the environment perspective too. Thank you. So why were each of the 10 cities chosen and what are they doing as they continue to expand to make sure they're growing responsibly? Green Voices has the answer.
Finland has extremely long and cold winters, but not many energy resources. Therefore, energy saving in healing is no small issue. Finland's Department of Environment adopted a regulation on buildings' thermal insulation in December 2002. The regulation requires thermal insulation to be installed in all new buildings. Windows have to have double or triple layers, and every room should have an aerator and automatic heating adjusting system.
This new type of resident building was constructed in 2005. Its thermal insulation is very good. The outer doors are thick, and the insulation layers are used in walls, ceiling, and floor. The sealing property of doors and windows are really good. All the windows have 3 layers of glass. This kind of designs can efficiently prevent heat loss.
Most buildings in Finland use grid heating system. In capital Helsinki, more than 90% of buildings are kept warm this way. Grid heating system turn extra heat produced by power plants when generating electricity into boiled water and send it to nearby residents. Newly built buildings in Finland are also installed with air circulation systems. The system can effectively gather and store heat emitted by human body, equipment, and lights. It can use the heat it stored to heat up fresh air and send it indoor.
Now I'm standing at a solar-powered community in Berlin, the capital city of Germany. Behind me there's a signboard showing 3 numbers. On my right hand, the number shows the current output power, and on my left hand, 2 numbers display since 1999 the community was founded. The power output of solar systems in this community has added up to 1,222 megawatt hours. The total reduction of carbon dioxide emissions has reached to 772.919 tons.
The community is just one example of the solar-powered communities all over Germany. In a developed country like Germany, about 50% of energy is consumed by buildings. So since 2009, Germany has banned the construction of any building without thermal isolation facilities or energy recycle systems. Now it's common to see solar-powered silicon aluminum plates on the roof of newly built houses. If the solar power system generates more power than the demand of community residents, the extra electricity will be transferred to the public power grid. Germany is one of the leading countries in solar power usage. The rapid development of solar in Germany should give credit to the release of Renewable Energy Bill in 2000. The bill granted allowances for green electricity suppliers. It prompted the development of solar energy in Germany and created hundreds of thousands of jobs. The country has 18,000 wind power generators, which churn out 40% of the total wind-generated electricity in the world. Large windmill grids have become attracting scenes in German villages. Germany has vowed to reducing 40% of emissions by 2020.
Doctor, what do you think we can learn from these livable cities?
I think we could learn their good management system. So in many cities, like in such a livable cities, they have a good solid waste management system. They have the classification of the solid waste. They have the good wastewater treatment system. They have obviously have the blue skies to control the vehicles to be in the downtown area. This, I think, we could learn from the cities.
Well, these livable cities make it look easy, but what challenges, environmental challenges, are developing cities facing in the process of expanding?
Many cities in developing countries are facing a lot of problems from the environment perspective. Many South Asia cities like India, they are even lack of basic infrastructures for water, for tap water, for the traffic infrastructures. For Chinese cities, obviously, the infrastructure has been improved a lot in the past 30 years, but still, we are still suffering the air quality issue. The air pollution in the cities, not only from the traffic system, also from the production system. Like Beijing, recently for the Olympics, Beijing just moved out, the biggest iron and steel company in the city moved out from the city. That has dramatically improved the air quality, of course. But in many other cities in China, they are still facing similar problems. They are still need, such a kind of problem need to be solved in the future.
Welcome back. Now let's have a look at the oil pipeline blast in China. Green Voices takes you to Dalian, northeast China's coastal city.
2 pipelines exploded off China's northeast coast on July the 16th and spewed crude oil into the sea. Efforts are underway to clean up the spill.
I'm now on the beach in Shicao village in Dalian. The explosion has passed 8 days. The relevant departments are trying their best to deal with the accident. Now, more and more people are concerned about the pollution to the seawater and the impact on the environment. According to this, we interviewed some environmental authorities. Let's listen to their analysis.
这个油膜呢是 漂在海面，阻挡了光合作用啊，这些对湾内的这个促进生产力呢是有影响。还有呢，我们现在已经监测到，海鸟呢在这个油污区域呢，受到明显的污染影响。有的海鸟呢沾污了油污呢，飞不起来，或者甚至有的海鸟沾污油污死亡的现象也有。
地方呢受到了污染以后啊。 你像这个能够游动的一些生物，它可能会有这个逃避的这种能力。那么有一些，特别是一些底细的一些生物，这个它移动不了，它跑不掉，这可能这个影响可能比较大。比如说海里边的一些底细的一些贝类呀，其他的一些微小的一些生物，这个影响可能是会很长时间。
Primary production refers to the production of chemical energy in organic compounds in the sea. The main source of this energy is sunlight. Dalian is one of China's major oil production and distribution hubs. It also has popular beaches, many of which were closed after crude washed up on them. Authorities have made all-out efforts to contain the spill, mobilizing hundreds of fishing boats and specialized cleaning vessels and volunteers to reduce the environmental impact of the spill.
Doctor, in your opinion, what kind of effect does this blast have on the environment?
I think this tragedy, I would say, actually has been really released based on the last Xinhua accident. In 2005, after Xinhua accident, China has really learned the big lessons from the Xinhua accident. Immediately, the government organized each ministry to plan its own emerging plans. And this one, I'm glad to see that right after the situation happened, immediately they organized the policemen from not only from the Dalian city, from the whole Liaoning province, immediately to be on site to have the rescue and fighting the fire, and eventually they control the situation. I would say that's and of course one of the emerging plans, the good equipment I learned from the media also played a very important role in this rescue activity.
Yeah, the explosion left us with a terrible lesson, and we should take concrete measures to avoid it from happening again. Now let's have a look at the environment headlines from across the globe.
Countries around the world have vowed to take part in clean energy initiatives to reduce carbon emissions. The global drive has been agreed upon during the first clean energy ministerial meeting held in Washington, D.C. The 11 initiatives are aimed to accelerate the global transition to clean energy and low carbon. They will cut energy waste, help deploy smart grid, develop electric vehicles and carbon capture technologies, and support renewable energy markets. China has pledged commitment to some of the initiatives. Together with the U.S., China has also proposed pilot projects of the use of electric vehicles in cities.
In a bid to raise the public awareness of the severe consequences of global warming, a photo exhibition named Himalaya's Disappearing Glaciers was held in New York by the Asian Association. Visitors can see the glaciers and snow on the world's highest mountain are melting away for the past century. All the photos were taken by famous American photographer David Brashears, who have visited Himalaya for 5 times and took numerous pictures there. It is the first time for Brashears to display his works in the United States.
Nigeria is trying to keep its harbors clean. The government has pledged manpower and money as well as publicity campaigns in a bid to better protect the environment. Tami-san Omatse, Nigeria's top maritime official, said Nigeria would clean up the trash and waste in the waters of the ports. He said the government will also train maritime personnel to patrol the ports to keep them clean and deal with emergency security events.
Chinese researchers have collected valuable specimens of marine life in a comprehensive investigation of the Bering Sea. China's 4th scientific expedition team to the North Pole has dragged up nearly 3 tons of bottom dwellers in an exploration for life at the bottom of the sea. The rich samples have proved the biodiversity of the Bering Sea. Against the background of climate change, the scientific expedition team has made their major task of the investigation of the oceanic ecosystem. The team will also investigate the ecosystem at the Bering Strait, Shaanxi Sea, and the Canadian Basin.
Environmental protection has become a key issue around the world, and more countries are focusing on developing responsibly. But pollution and the wasting of resources still continue. Here's a look at some pictures. So, Doctor, how crucial is it to raise the public's awareness of environmental protection when it comes to energy saving and emission reduction?
Yeah, of course, the environment awareness is very important. When the people realize the environment is their own environment, they protect for their own self, definitely that would generate the motivations for the citizens to do something for themselves. It takes time. When the people at the beginning of obviously looking for the jobs, the higher income, and gradually they will find, the work, the purpose of the work is not only, for the commodities, also for the environment surrounding themselves. They need to, improve the air quality, improve the water quality for the better life.
Going green needs to be a part of our daily life. Even our cars need to be environmentally friendly, which is why energy-saving vehicles were the star attraction at the recent Changchun International Automobile Fair. Green Voices has more from Changchun, China.
Green vehicles have stolen the spotlight at the 7th China Changchun International Automobile Fair. The fair, held in Changchun of northeast China's Jilin province, displayed 30 types of the most advanced new energy vehicles. With the theme of science and technology, environmental protection and green homeland, the Changchun International Automobile Fair highlighted green technology in the auto industry. Electric cars, hybrid vehicles, and concept vehicles succeeded in drawing the attention of the visitors. The automobile industry in China is now undergoing a green revolution with the support of the government and efforts by manufacturers.
Government supported programs in the United States, in Europe, in China, in Japan. So this seems to be a trend all over the world.
Chinese cities like Changchun, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hangzhou, and Hefei started from June 1st to subsidize those who have purchased new energy vehicles. The maximum amount is nearly $9,000 per car.
Hybrid and electric vehicles have become trendy, but still account for a small percentage of vehicles on our roads. So, Doctor, in your view, why haven't more green vehicles been bought or produced around the world?
I think the green vehicles to be developed depends on not only, the consensus of the citizens, not only the social responsibility of corporates, also relies on the market conditions. When the green vehicles, the price are getting closer to the traditional vehicles, that would leverage the market. Otherwise, still, it takes time to be commercialized. I'm glad to learn the Chinese government has already, heavily subsidized the green vehicles. That's good, but not enough. We still somehow should let the traditional vehicles to be more expensive, to let the traditional vehicle owners to pay the environmental cost completely. Right now, they pay a little bit, but not enough, not 100% cover the environmental cost.
Welcome back to Green Voices, a weekly program co-produced by the Ministry of Environmental Protection of China and Xinhua News Agency. Cities around the world are adopting environmentally friendly regulations. In China, several cities have made it their mission to save energy and reduce emission. Green Voices shows you how.
Many cities in China, which used to be called the kingdom of bicycles, are now packed with cars, which led to air pollution and traffic jams. In recent years, however, low-carbon transportations like bicycles have become popular again. Hangzhou, capital of East China's Zhejiang province, has borrowed ideas from European countries and become the first Chinese city to have a public bicycle transportation system.
Public bicycle service solves the problem that people from home to bus station or subway. Meanwhile, this service is low carbon and environmental for more and more Chinese people.
The idea came from Europe. In Denmark, with the new riding lane, there will be 20% more bicycle riders for 10% less car drivers. Besides, the maintenance of car lanes each year will fall by nearly $10 million. At present, there are 1,600 public bicycle service spots in Hangzhou, and in downtown, there is such a spot every 300 meters. As many as 211,600 people per day use the public bikes. With a flowering economy but scanty resources, East China Jiangsu province is transforming its high-carbon economy to a low-carbon one. New high-tech industries, including new energies and new materials, are becoming the leading powers of Jiangsu's economic development. After 15 years of construction, the industrial park of Suzhou City has gained impressive achievements in its development of the low-carbon economy. Now there are more than 2,000 high-tech enterprises in the park, ranging from medicine production, nanotechnology to communication and software industries. Elsewhere in Kunshan City, optoelectronics, renewable energy resources, and compound semiconductor are gaining momentum. The city is trying to turn itself from a city of manufacture to a city of low-carbon economy, which features energy conservation and emission reduction. In addition, Jiangsu province has also put attention to the development of wind electricity. Up to this June, the installed capacity reached over 1 million kilowatts. The province is trying to upgrade itself from a manufacturing hub to a sustainable economy of high-tech, high added values, low carbon, and low energy consumption.
Doctor, how do you think the cities we just saw are doing when it comes to environment protection?
I think the Hangzhou's experiences to redevelop the bicycle system, I think is a good way. Let me remember my life as a student traveling in the city with a bicycle. That's, I think, a very pleasant time. However, so far, our good traditions used to be like Beijing, we have special bicycle lanes. Now is gradually being, the bicycle lanes gradually have become the lanes for the vehicles, not for the bicycles. That's something, don't want to go back to retake the bicycles. When biking is good, but bearing the environmental polluted the air is not good. So I think this is a system engineering. We need a whole system to change.
Apart from the government, we citizens all need to do our own part to help save the earth. People are stepping up and contributing to a greener planet. Green Voices has more.
Yan Fu-Tan, director of World Wildlife Fund Global Climate Change Solutions, told CNC that the construction of low-carbon eco-cities can be a powerful solution to climate change. Yan made the suggestion on the sidelines of a forum gathering mayors across China. Yan said China is now undergoing an unprecedented process of urbanization. In this process, energy consumption and emissions of carbon dioxide may affect climate. Therefore, construction of eco-cities will benefit China and the world. 60 energy-saving buses have come onto the roads in Kunming, capital of southwest China's Yunnan province. The hybrid buses run on less fuel and let out fewer emissions. The city has planned to get another 690 energy-saving buses and 200 hybrid taxis in 4 years.
The Binghai New District of Tianjin Municipality is to set up a special fund for energy conservation. The move is aimed to encourage local industry to save energy and become more environmentally friendly. The fund of about $28 million will help boost the development of energy conservation technologies and the use of renewable energy.
Welcome back to Green Voices. Going green doesn't just stop in our cities and our homes. Even our entertainment can be made more environmentally friendly. The perfect example, a green amusement park was recently opened in China. Green Voices take a tour of the new Beijing attraction.
The world's largest eco theme park has recently opened in Beijing. The park is designed to be a new hangout for citizens where they can explore how to make their lives greener in an interesting way. The park features the world's largest Transformers-style creation of abandoned vehicles and recycled materials. It is 11.5 meters high and covers an area of 100 square meters. In the recycling art pavilion, a paper box-made chair caught the eyes of the visitors. The chair can accommodate 16 people and it can be folded into different shapes. The park includes 5 indoor theme pavilions and 6 outdoor display sections. More than 100 exhibits constructed of waste and recycled materials are on display. In the park, every single thing can bring visitors the fun of recycling.
So much this edition of Green Voices. Thank you, Doctor, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Hello and welcome to this edition of Green Voices. Today we are discussing more topics on environmental protection. And also we are pleased to have Professor Li Guangming, Vice Dean of College of Environmental Sciences and Engineering at Tongji University. Professor Li, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
First, let's have a look at the latest environmental topics.
Energy giant BP says it has doubled the amount of oil being captured from the blowout well in the Gulf of Mexico, but continuing damage to the environment could take years to repair. Coast Guard Admiral Thad Allen, who is overseeing the government's response to the catastrophic spill, said at the White House briefing on June 7th, quote, "Dealing with the oil spill on the surface will go on for a couple of months. Long-term issues of restoring environments and habitats and stuff will be years." Allen says the catastrophe has affected 193 kilometers of U.S. coastline stretching from Louisiana to Florida, and Washington will be dealing with the spill for another 4 to 6 weeks. 600 animal species are at risk, according to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, including more than 400 fish species and 100 kinds of birds. Experts said birds can die from ingesting toxic liquid while cleaning it from their feathers and go blind if oil gets into their eyes. Meanwhile, scientists say the oil slick could spread as hurricane season begins, and the crude could travel wherever a storm surge takes it.
On World Environment Day, Russian President Dmitry Medvedev published a video blog on his official website. In his video, he calls upon the international community to increase efforts regarding environmental protection to prevent future environmental disasters, such as the recent oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, from happening again. On June 5th, Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin visited the National Park of Losiny Ostrov, Moose Island, in northeast Moscow to demonstrate his concern for environmental issues. A recent environmental report released by Mexico's National Statistics Agency warns that per capita water resource in the country is less than 1/4 of what it was 60 years ago. The report shows that the average Mexican citizen has access to 18,100 tons of drinking water in 1950. However, the figure has declined to 4,000 tons today. Recently, the first service platform for greenhouse gas voluntary emission reduction began its operations in Tianjin. It provides electronic coding services and publicity for the first greenhouse gas voluntary emission reduction project. The Tianjin Climate Exchange is China's first comprehensive environmental rights trading organization. It aims to promote energy conservation and emission reduction by means of the free market and methods of financial innovation. On June 5th, the China Ministry of Environmental Protection launched its publicity campaign for the electronic waste recycling regulations. The regulations focus on the specialized processing of electronic waste and took effect on January 1st, 2010. The implementation of the electronic waste recycling regulations will play an important role in regulating the recycling of electronic products, preventing and reducing environmental pollution, and promoting full utilization of resources. As of this month, residents in the downtown area of Dalian, a city in northeast China's Liaoning province, have had their garbage disposal fees billed within their utility fees. According to the Health Administration of Dalian Urban Construction Bureau, the garbage disposal fee began on April 4th, 2010. Each downtown household pays 6 yuan, about $0.9 per month. In the past decade, forest land in the Greater Gingan Mountains of northern China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region has increased by 120 million cubic meters, according to local forestry administration. The Greater Gingan Mountains are China's largest national forest area. Currently, its forest area and stocking volume has had sustained growth. The forest coverage has reached 76.55%. A new eco-friendly city block, regarded as the new city block model of the 21st century, held its completion ceremony on June 3rd in Sun Valley, Los Angeles. The project was a collaboration between the LA government and non-profit environmental organizations and took 10 years to complete. As a result, 40 acres of rainwater can be collected, purified, and reused in the area. Soil erosion can also be prevented, protecting the environment from pollution.
First of all, let's talk about the oil spill event at the Gulf of Mexico, as the disaster has seriously damaged local environment. Professor Li, what do you think we can learn from this disaster?
Oh, I think the accident of the oil spills in the Gulf of Mexico that have caused the disaster of the ecological of ocean. I think we should consider 3 points about for the developing for the ocean development. Firstly, we should concerning the flexible of the ocean ecological. It's really flexible because any small accident maybe cause the disaster for the ecological oceans. And the second, now for the development economic, and we should concern about the development of the gas and oil sources and the fishing that maybe increase the risk of the environment. And second, I think we should establish about the managing systems through the international cooperation from international organization or government or the national governments.
Well, as we have seen it takes barely minutes to destroy our environment, but it takes decades or even centuries to restore it. Actually, many environmental problems begin with human ignorance of responsible management and supervision. For example, it seems that our cities are always being besieged by garbage. In China, as we have just saw in the video, a number of cities like Dalian have started to levy waste disposal fees. Professor Li, what do you think of the garbage besieged city phenomenon we bring to our city?
As you know, now the world in the civilization of the urban and the more garbages in the city, and the more garbage in the city maybe cause the severe environmental issues such as the wastewater, waste soils, and air pollutions. So we should concern such environmental issues, and mostly for more garbage, it's the for the landfill, and also is the waste of the soil.
Well, zoom out to a global view. Is there any effective and feasible solution to the waste disposal?
For many years, for the global and some nations have concerned such the garbage management, and for the development and developing countries also faced such garbage issues. I think such for the garbage management, such 3 ways. First is reduce with the gasification method or incineration technologies. And second, I think the most important for the recovery the garbage to resourcing the solid waste. And the last, I think. We can use some technologies. For example, landfill garbage can be changed with the harmless of the environment to exchange to the environment or park or some places.
We also hope in the near future the environmental headaches could be eased and people will live a healthy life. Welcome back. This is Green Voices, a new show by Xinhua News Agency and China's Ministry of Environmental Protection. The oil leak at the Gulf of Mexico has attracted worldwide attention. In the process of fast urbanization, conflicts between human development and natural protection are getting more and more obvious. According to the latest figures from the UN, urban population will account for 2/3 of global population in 2030. If we don't change the lucre-oriented ideas or take no effective efforts, the outcome will likely be disastrous. As the theme of the ongoing Shanghai World Expo says, better city, better life. To strike a balance between urban living and natural environment is a lesson we need to learn.
Solar power has been used widely at the Shanghai Expo site. Solar cells have been installed onto the roofs and glass walls of key buildings, such as the Theme Pavilion, China Pavilion. The total area of solar panels stands at 50,000 square meters, with the gross power output of about 5 megawatts. The Shanghai Expo site has become the world's largest model area for solar energy utilization. Solar energy helps make a green Shanghai Expo. More than 1 billion LED chips and bulbs are installed around the Expo site. They turn the whole site into a land of light and wonder at night, but at a low cost of electricity. An LED light can save up to 60% of electricity than a regular bulb, but boasts a better capacity of illumination. In addition, computer-controlled LED lights can form a more dynamic and complex pattern. More than 1,000 green energy vehicles are shuttling in the 5.28 square kilometer Expo site. These vehicles help make the site zero emission. During the 6 months of the Expo, the vehicles are expected to save about 10,000 tons of petrol compared with traditional vehicles. They will also cut 28,400 tons of carbon dioxide emissions and 118 tons of polluted particles. Since bottled beverage is not allowed into the Expo site, over 1,300 drinking facilities around the site provide free drinking water for nearly 2,000 visitors at any one time. Each facility uses activated carbon, an ultrafiltration membrane, and ultraviolet radiation to make water clean and safe for drinking. The facilities will not only spare visitors money to buy water, but also save up to 210 million plastic bottles. To produce paper, tons of pulp is used and the procedure of bleach results in pollution. But toilet paper and tissue provided at the Shanghai Expo site is made out of deserted milk cartons and not bleached. According to statistics, 2,000 tons of toilet paper and tissue will be used during the 6-month-long Shanghai Expo. Recycled paper means saving 7,000 cubic meters of wood, which can be translated into 60,000 trees. In addition, benches at the Expo site are also environment-friendly. Each is made of 856 milk cartons. Besides, trash bags and disposal dishware at the Expo site are all disgradable. Green plants are everywhere at the Shanghai Expo site, not only on the ground, but also on the walls. A large number of pavilions are covered with green plants. The Expo site is also home to the world's largest green wall, which covers an area of over 6,000 square meters. Festooned with a variety of green plants, the wall stands outside the Expo theme pavilion. According to experts, green walls can help reduce the heat island effect, which refers to high temperature in summer in urban areas crowded with buildings.
From the video, we noticed that the Shanghai Expo is full of environmental protection ideas, no matter if you look at the Expo site construction or its pavilions. Now let's talk to Pan Xu, Xinhua News Agency correspondent at Shanghai Bureau, and hear what the Expo looks like in his eyes. Hello, Pan Xu. Can you tell us what impresses you most at the Expo in terms of environmental protection?
Hi there. What impresses me most is that the Shanghai Expo has pavilions and infrastructure featuring environmental protection. As we can see, the France pavilion where I'm standing has the green posts over there. It stands at about 20 meters high with various kinds of green plants growing inside from outside. And similarly, we have Theme Pavilion, Luxembourg Pavilion, Singapore Pavilion, that all has its green exterior of the construction. And in terms of the infrastructures in the Expo Park, we can see the drinking taps, the LED screens, the solar system application, and the Expo axis that all reflects the theory of Green Expo.
Ms. Li, the Shanghai Expo is full of environmental protection ideas. Then what is the feature of this pavilion construction?
I think for the Shanghai World Expos, they showed many technologies, green technologies for environment, for the sustainable development. So I think some technologies can be used for the future urban lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most important, and that is the future for the Water Expos.
Could you give us some specific examples for that?
I think for the Shanghai Water Expos, therefore the river, for the urban, the river stream can be recovered. That technologies can be used for the future urban life, urban environment situations. And in the Water Expos, many pavilions have been used the rain collection and recovery for the greening or for the washing. These technologies can be used for the urban lives, for the save the water source.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for explanation. Along with the Huangpu River, the expo site was divided into two sections, Pudong and Puxi. If we say Pudong reflects the current development of the world, then Puxi represents the future direction of the human society. The urban best practices areas in Puxi section demonstrate a number of environmental protection technologies which give visitors a brilliant outlook of humans' future life.
Odense, the hometown of Hans Christian Andersen, one of the most well-known fairy tale writers in the world, is using its pavilion to encourage more people to use bicycle as a way to get where they need to be. With the theme of the revival of the bicycle, Odense's UBPA Case Pavilion builds a cycling track in the pavilion, so the visitors could tour the site by bike and experience the environment-friendly bicycle ride.
I think cycling should be welcomed by people all over the world. It will help us stay fit.
Bicycle lanes in Odense extend 550 kilometers. The city government is also building more bike lanes and bike parking racks to promote cycling.
Riding bikes is good for the environment. There will be fewer cars in the center of the city, so it will be very clean and air is fresh.
Streets filled up with cars are a headache for many large cities across the world. But now, the idea of car sharing showcased at Bremen UBPA Case Pavilion at the ongoing 2010 Shanghai World Expo may help cities relieve its headache. For the past 20 years, Bremen in Germany has been using the car-sharing system to relieve its traffic congestion and reduce air pollution. Bremen municipal government set up a government-run car-sharing club in 1990. Once people join the club, they can reserve a car supplied by the government. One shared car can be used in the place of 6 private cars. More than 500,000 citizens are now sharing 160 shared cars in Bremen, instead of 1,000 private cars. At the Shanghai Expo, the only flowing water park in Sichuan Pavilion has attracted flocks of tourists. In Chengdu's UBPA case, the miniature water park demonstrates how polluted water is purified. The water is cleaned after being processed in anaerobic, the green tank, the fishing, and the green tank, and then it can flow into the river.
The most important part of our case is called artificial wetland ecosystem, working as a natural water purification system. We planted water plants in the pool to absorb and degrade organic matter into such chemical elements as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium needed by the water plants. That's how dirty water is purified.
With its water source in Chengdu, capital of southwest China's Sichuan province, the living water park could clean 300 tons of water per day, demonstrating the whole process of how Fu River, Chengdu's mother river, is cleaned. In the Montreal Pavilion at the Expo, a movie is shown on a multimedia screen composed of 720 removable blocks, taking visitors on a journey witnessing the transformation of the landfill site into an environmentally friendly complex. The 20,000 square meters in Miguel Environmental Complex is one of Montreal's best examples of sustainable development. Thanks to the rehabilitation plan put forward by Montreal's municipal government in 1995, what used to be a limestone quarry and a landfill site has now turned into a city park.
Professor Li, as we see in the urban best practices area, there are a lot of environmental protection ideas, and many of which have come to life. So what is the meaning of these areas to us?
For this World Expos, urban best practical area is the innovation for the Expo history, that is innovations. What for these innovations? I think that seems for the World Expo is better city, better life. And what city can give the best life? There have some ideas or some examples for the sustainable development for the urban life. So I think these areas give some examples or demonstrations for the future sustainable development of the urban life.
Then what is the highlight to these areas? Can you give us some suggestions to the visitors?
I think many examples such as Shanghai, Shanghai ecological building, and Hamburg ideas, and zero carbon based buildings, and many examples give the how to heritage the future the city life, and how to the future sustainable city lives.
Well, Professor Li, the governments, the enterprises, and the individuals shoulder different responsibilities to protect the environmentally friendly development of urban life. So could you tell us what exactly the responsibilities of those different groups?
I think for the future life is the harmony city life or sustainable. And I think the government and the manufacturers and the human residents, they have they must give some sustainable production and consumptions. I think the most important such parts should concern about the sustainable development for low carbon or friendly, environment-friendly lifestyles.
And in the Shanghai Expo, besides the urban best practices area, there are a lot of pavilions also featuring green technologies. Now let's hear the voices and opinions from Expo visitors and know how they think about these environmental protection ideas.
I come from Belgium. In Belgium it's cold, so we really need to heat all the houses almost all year through. So I think that solar energy can be a very good solution.
最基本的，我觉得可能就是像那个一部分垃圾的分类，这部分我觉得应该可以很快的应用在我们的日常生活里面。
The electric bus and the cell car. That's a hydrogen car. Yes. I think those two are good. That's the future for transport.
And it's clearly important that we humans protect the other species, and the seed bank is just one way in which we can do this.
You have lots of new materials. Some are biodegradable, some are made from renewable resources like wood or bamboo or soy. So lots of very new, novel building technologies, very good for a sustainable future.
At the Shanghai Expo, there is a zero-carbon London pavilion. It's the first zero-carbon public building in China, an outcome of a number of cutting-edge technologies in the world. It's oriented from the Britain's Beddington Zero Energy Development. Now let's take a look.
Its Beddington Zero Energy Development, or BEDZ, is located in Wallington, a suburb in the south of London. It was completed in 2002 with the intention of creating a self-sufficient, sustainable community. Bill Dunster, designer of BEDZ, says the eco-friendly community starts with the building material. The homes and offices were built using reclaimed steel and timber from well-managed forests that have been certified by the Forest Stewardship Council. Most construction materials were sourced within a 60-kilometer radius of the site, reducing pollution and environmental damage by minimizing freight transport. The buildings are also designed to save energy. The well-insulated homes have large south-facing windows and conservatories to trap as much sunlight as possible. This reduces the need for artificial lighting and heating. In contrast, the offices face north to reduce the need for air conditioning to keep office equipment cool. The homes are fitted with energy-efficient refrigerators, ovens, and other electronic appliances. Solar panels and on-site combined heat and power plant, which runs on tree surgery waste, provide hot water and electricity. Monitoring results indicate that heating is reduced by about 80% and the total electricity consumption by 45% compared to conventional homes.
Welcome back. Now we'll move on from the Shanghai Expo. The Amazon rainforest boasts itself as the most magnificent rainforest in the world. However, for decades, it's been facing threats posed by fast urbanization. To protect the forest, the Brazilian government set up an ecological woodcutting training camp. We'll take you there.
Known as Lawn of the Earth, Amazon forest is facing severe challenges as the urbanization develops. The Brazilian government racks its brains so as to safeguard the reforestation. In the hinterland of the rainforest, an eco-lumber camp was established. Let's have a look at what's special there. 500 kilometers to Belém, which is known as the mouth of the Amazon River, there is an eco-lumber camp located in the hinterland of the rainforest. The camp is especially open for forestry workers and college students to conduct on-site inspections. In the camp, people will not only learn relevant eco-lumber knowledge, but also practice their hands-on abilities, such as having a try on forestry surveying and mapping, forestry discrimination, as well as taking part in a series of procedures like lumber, transportation, and storage.
There was no concept of eco-lumber before. Actually, as we know, eco-lumber itself cannot totally preserve the Amazon rainforest. However, as the problems such as climate change and carbon dioxide discharge emerge, there is an urgent need for lumber in an eco-friendly way.
It is learned that Eco-Lumber Camp was officially named as Rainforest Research Center. In 1994, some overseas non-governmental institutions ushered in cooperation with Brazilian local government, non-governmental institutions and corporations, and established a Rainforest Foundation, aiming to promote a sustainable way of lumber. Currently, there are more than 600 people in Brazil come to this eco-lumber camp each day. These trainees are deemed as the broadcasters and bring this kind of advanced eco-lumber throughout the whole country and press forward the sustainable development in the whole forestry industry.
The camp is set up to equip people with advanced ecological woodcutting techniques. Actually, in our daily lives, there are also many little tips to realize low-carbon life. CNC correspondent offers us some going green tips in our daily lives.
Walking in the expo site, it's very easy to find this kind of bench to sit on. But while you are sitting on it, never forget it's not a normal one. As you can see, it have various colors and have a line saying this green bench is recycled from 856 used milk and beverage cartons. We come across a daily life example of rubbish recycling at the expo site. As you can see here, this material is all made from this kind of normal milk beverage carton as I'm holding now, and with high temperature and high pressure, this material have a non-toxic and environmental friendly character. The expert said this material can replace all wood products and saving a lot of trees. But we know all of this is starting from rubbish separation. This is a rubbish collecting spot at the expo site. As you can see here, it is using the pneumatic rubbish conveying system by reduce the pollution while collecting. More importantly, there are two openings here. One is recyclable and the other is other waste. With more and more examples of resource recycle in our life, such as bag made from the Coke bottle, tissue made from the milk carton, and also the wall made from recyclable fibers, you can also be part of it by just a simple thinking before you throw out rubbish. Why don't you try and start it from now?
So much for this edition of Green Voices. Thank you, Professor Li, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Green Voices. We'll see you again next week.
Coming up, waste incineration getting popular. Solar planes lands after 26-hour flight. Vienna Water Schools offers courses on environmental protection.
Hello and welcome to Green Voices, a weekly program co-produced by the Ministry of Environmental Protection of China and Xinhua News Agency. I'm Xingshan in Beijing. We explore how people worldwide have taken action to protect our environment. Today we're joined by Dr. Li from the Chinese Research Academy of Environmental Sciences. Hello, Doctor. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to our program. But first, before starting our talk, we want to show you a group of pictures first. After seeing these pictures in which waste is piling up everywhere and skyscrapers are submerged in cities, I don't know whether you feel as shocked as I am. Doctor, as an expert in the solid waste disposals, can you tell us the information about China's current situation on the waste problem?
The quantity of municipal solid waste in China is increasing every year. In 2008, the cities produced solid waste about 150 million of tons, and the countries produced 100 million of tons. And if added that produced by the rural towns, all the totally will exceed 400 million of tons.
So the waste is still increasing.
Yeah, and at the same time, the quality of the solid waste in China is also changed a lot, such as ash and cinder that in organic matters dropped, and such as kitchen waste and plastic waste that organic matters increased. But these matters produced more environmental pollution in the treatment, and it made it difficult to treat. And so, although the official input in the treatment of municipal solid waste is increasing, the rate of harmlessly treatment of solid waste in China is still very low, about 50% in 2008.
So you're referring to the municipal solid waste.
Yeah.
Is there any other waste?
Yes, because of the high speed of the economic development in China, such as industry solid waste and hazardous solid waste also increase very high.
What are the main methods adopted in waste disposal currently? Professor Nie Yongfeng from Tsinghua University will tell you more.
As for the management technology of municipal solid waste, there are four technologies. One is the recovery and recycling. Second, maybe is the composting. Third, incineration, and finally, landfill.
Doctor, among all these waste disposal solutions, which are the most effective one?
In fact, each technology has its own situation. Different countries and regions would choose their own technology to treat their own solid waste. For example, recycle, included that compost, could use the matters that could be used in the waste adequately, but it could be used only to treat some kind of the matters in the waste, and it was limited by the market of its product. So, recycle could not solve the mass waste in China, and landfill is now has no strict to the component in the waste, and it was simply to operation, and the operation cost is very low, but it occupies a lot of land, including the land of the landfill site and land nearby. And the pollutants of landfill is difficult to control, such as leachate, landfill gas, and odor, because landfill is an open operation and the organic things, matter in it was constantly operation. And incineration can solve the above problems that of landfill, I think. And the factory operation can control the environmental pollution easily, but the operation, construction and operation will cost a lot more than the landfill. And so it was more suitable to be used in the regions that has high density of population and has more developed economy, I think. And for example, to the east region in China, incineration is an effective way to solve the problem raised by the solid waste.
And in the West, we can adopt the landfill method.
Yes.
After Dr. Li's analysis, let's walk into the Shanghai Jiangqiao waste incineration plant and have a look at what's happening there.
大家好，我现在就是在上海江桥生活垃圾焚烧厂。那么这是上海仅有的2座正在投产的生活垃圾焚烧厂之一，每天处理垃圾的量达到1500吨。那么走在这个厂区内给我印象最深的有2点。第一就是他们的这个绿化覆盖率非常高，那么据介绍要达到49%左右。第二就是整个厂区它的自动化率非常高。那么在一个占地达到206亩的一个厂区里面，只有区不到90名员工，因此可以看出它的整个的生产线和流水线，它的科技含量是相当的。那么下面，大家往我身后看，就是一个巨大的一个大烟囱。那么这个烟囱呢，就是垃圾焚化之后所要排放这个烟气所使用的一个烟气塔。那么据介绍它这个垃圾焚烧厂，它这个排放标准也是符合欧盟92的一个标准。那么就拿二恶英这个排放量来说，是达到了0.1纳克的这么一个标准，也是符合欧盟92的标准。
The Jiangqiao trash incineration factory is by now the most advanced one in China. It started operation in 2004. It has 3 incineration lines, and it can dispose 1,500 tons of trash per day, about 1/10 of the total trash produced per day in Shanghai. Wastes produced in Shanghai are generally wet. The factory adopted new technologies and solved the landfill leachate problem, setting a good example for other factories in China. The factory's emission meets the EU 92 standards, and there is a screen at the entrance of the factory showing the real-time emission data. The whole factory is highly automatic. The environment of the plant is very clean and beautiful, with a green coverage of 49%. No trash smells could be perceived.
Well, Doctor, I have never been to a waste incineration plant before, because upon my understanding and imagination, it should be a very lousy place and full of pungent smells.
Yeah.
So, but this one, this Shanghai Jiangqiao incineration plant, looks like a garden. So beautiful. So, is this kind of incineration plant popular in China, and what's the development of China's incineration plant?
In fact, the rate of incineration of solid waste in China is increasing. In 2008, it reached about 10%, and 2/3 of it was in Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Guangdong provinces. And you can see these provinces are the most developed regions in China, and it has the highest density of population. And you can see that these provinces are the most developed regions in China, and it has the highest density of population. So it has it can control the pollution in the incineration plants, and it also indicated that this kind of regions has a requirement to use incineration technology to solve the problem.
Is there any difference existing in the area of waste classification between China and other countries? Let's hear from Professor Ni again.
Compare with the other country, for the developed country, our garbage have 3 characteristics. First is high percentage of biodegradable organic matter. Usually is between 50% to 30%. Second characteristic is high moisture. Usually maybe 50–60%, sometimes maybe 70%, like in summer season. So the third one is low content of recyclable matter, because valuable waste material have been recovered before into the municipal solid waste. So compared with the other country, the Chinese municipal solid waste is hard to treat it.
Doctor, considering the different components of waste, will it yield different effects during the processing?
Yes, of course. The high rate of water content and low heat value were the main factors which affect the incineration, because we should add a lot of fuel. This added the cost. And if we can separate the kitchen waste from the beginning and recycle it separately, this will be solved.
In the practical process, China adopted corresponding technologies to deal with different components of waste. Beijing's Gaoan Twin Waste Incineration Plant is one of them. We'll take you there to have a look.
Gaoan Twin Waste Incineration Plant is Beijing's first modern waste disposal plant. It can dispose 1,600 tons of waste each day, half of the total waste of Chaoyang district, or waste of 2 million people. Based on the advanced technologies imported from abroad, the plant made some innovation in line with the major composition of the local waste.
实际上，我们的垃圾的那个炉排在干燥段呢，要比国外的来得长。同时呢，我们在运行当中，我们呢不是像国外那样就是均匀的存放垃圾的，我们呢是堆放的。堆放的方式呢，使我们能够使得这个垃圾呢在垃圾池里头可以有5天的发酵时间。经过5天发酵以后呢，把垃圾的渗滤液去除，然后呢，相对的我们提高了热值，然后再进入焚烧炉焚烧，这样呢就保证了我们能够良好的完成这个焚烧的任务。
It was proved to be effective. The monitor data show the plant's emission is very clean.
China is not only importing incineration technologies from abroad, but also exploring technology innovations suitable to China's own situation. Doctor, what do you think of these innovations?
Because original technology and equipment that fit for our situation were lack, so we have to import the technologies. But just like we say, we must change it suitable for our component of our waste, and we can control the pollution of incineration.
Doctor, since some of the incineration plants have already met the international standards, but is there still any other improvements that we need to do?
Firstly, no technology could be overemphasized. I think that should be emphasized is the whole process management idea and the comprehensive control, and from the reduction from the source and recycle and recovery the resource. And the second, I think that now in China, the public know little of the tendency and the situation of the technology of the treatment technology of waste, and they only the people nearby the incineration plants care of the treatment, and others did not care of.
Yeah, and you have mentioned this attitude a lot of people have. They think you can do the incineration plant, you can have it, but not at my backyard.
Yes, but if everybody thinks that everybody's backyard will be full of waste, I think.
As the concept low-carbon lifestyle deepens in people's minds, waste disposal is not only related to city environment, but also crucial to energy supply. Now we will take you to a waste incineration power plant in Xinjiang City in southeast China's Fujian province, and then People's Liberation Army naval escort fleet in the Gulf of Aden to see how people there deal with trash.
The trash incineration plant in Xinjiang, Fujian province, started to operate in 2005. Now it provides waste disposal services for 2 million people of 19 countries. The plant also can generate 35,000 kilowatts per hour electricity power each day through trash incineration.
目前的处理能力是日处理垃圾1800吨。我们在这个垃圾的焚烧过程中呢，产生了先进的技术。即使是垃圾焚烧以后产生的废渣，也可以作为这个环保建材综合利用。这个垃圾通过这个厂的处理，没有产生新的这个废料。
In Fujian province, there are 5 such trash incineration plants. While they are serving for the province environment, they also offer huge power to the region.
The ideas of environment protection, such as resource recycle and waste incineration, also can be found on China's Navy warship in Gulf of Aden. They are the 5th fleet conducting escorting missions there.
我现在所在的位置是中国海军第5批护航编队广州舰的带缆平台，而这里也是舰上的垃圾处理中心。每天早上，舰上所有的生活垃圾都将集中在这里进行分类回收。据我们了解，在护航编队每艘舰艇上都配备有固体垃圾压实装置及固体垃圾专用焚烧炉等垃圾处理装置。而固体垃圾专用焚烧炉采用国际最新的工艺技术。 通过高达1000摄氏度的炉温焚烧后，垃圾仅残留少量对环境无污染的白灰。在焚烧垃圾过程中产生的废气，经过无害化的处理，对空气不会造成再次污染。而焚烧垃圾的同时，还可以利用炉温为舰上提供生活的热水。
After watching the videos, we know that trash can be turned into resources. In our energy-hungry era, the environment is severely haunted by pollution. This is why the new trash-to-resource technologies are ever so precious. Doctor, apart from generating electricity, what can we benefit from the waste?
There are several other ways of recycling of waste, such as reuse of the old shoes, clothes, and other things, and the recovery of material of glasses and plastics and compost, etc.
At present, environmental conservation is indispensable to our daily lives. High-tech and low-pollution waste incineration plants are becoming more and more favored by various countries. Okay, let's have a short break. Later, our destinations will be Japan and Sweden, 2 countries which play leading roles in the waste incineration industry.
Stockholm is a beautiful city partly due to its good waste management. Waste classification and recycling in the city have contributed to the good environment and also local heating system.
We have been able to really create a sustainable way to use the last energy from the waste, and it actually started not as an environmental project, it was started as a lack of land. We didn't have any land to put the waste on depot. And today we put almost no waste at all in depot. We use the last energy.
Local residents are required to classify electronic waste and hazardous waste and take the waste to specific collecting points across the city. The combustible waste is sent to the power plant directly or to the waste disposal site to generate electricity power. Thanks to the advanced technologies, the emission of the incineration plant is harmless. As a result, 73.5% household waste can be used to generate energy, while 25% can be recycled. Almost nothing is left to landfill.
The incineration plant is right in the middle in the residential area, and the fact that we have no complaints from the neighbors to the incineration plant, and we have no problems with dioxin emissions today.
Thanks to the integrated waste management and the efforts of waste classification by local residents, Stockholm has been awarded Green Capital title by European Union in February 2009.
Japan depends heavily on its trash incineration
In Tokyo alone, there are 21 plants for trash burning. Such plants are not all located on the outskirts due to their strict and reliable standards. Behind me is a trash disposal plant. It is located only 1 kilometer from the Shibuya subway station in downtown Tokyo. Most of these plants are open for visitors. They have become the highlights of the local government's plan of promoting environment protection.
Japan is a country with a dense population but scarce natural resources. Over years, the way people treat the trash has changed a lot. In the past, people would mostly bury their trash, but this brought out more problems, including pest and water pollution. In comparison, trash incineration has clear advantages. It could kill bacteria and virus, reduce remains and produce electric power, and it also can save land resources. Trash incineration has been developing fast in Japan in recent years. By now, more than 70% of trash in Japan is disposed through incineration, making Japan the most trash incinerated country in the world.
Besides Japan and Sweden, there are many other countries taking incineration as their first choice for waste disposal. Statistics show that there are almost 400 waste incineration plants in Europe, with a high density in Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands. Over the past decade, new waste incineration power plants had played dominant roles in waste disposal in Denmark. The widespread application of this new method not only reduces its resource depletion and makes it less dependent on fossil energies like natural gas and petroleum, but also lowers its greenhouse emission. Doctor, what kind of experiences can we learn from these countries which are advanced in the waste incineration?
I think which we can learn is also of the most important is to how to set up the policy combined with the situation of the country. Because for China, the situation of the economic development, the people's habits and customs, the component of the waste and the managed system are particular. So when we want to make up the policy, we must use the idea of whole process management and comprehensive control to make up our own policing. I think that's the most important.
So the whole process management is still on the top of the list?
Yes.
But compared with those high-tech incineration technologies imported from other more experienced countries, the more important thing for us is their advanced management. Welcome back. There is a saying, trash is a misplaced treasure. Now let's review recent headline news on environmental conservation worldwide.
Greenpeace displayed a national flag without the color of green in Mexico City in a bid to arouse public awareness of the importance of green plants. 250 Mexican residents together displayed a 230 square meter national flag, and then they replaced the green part of the flag with the picture of a cow eating grass. According to Greenpeace, the Mexican government should stop the deforestation immediately and plant more trees in order to achieve its goal of carbon reduction. Kenya's Rift Valley province is home to various wildlife including elephant, urus, and zebra. However, habitat of animal dwellers there has shrunk a lot as the human population increases rapidly. In the past decade, the country's population has witnessed a 50% increase, or 15 million more, to the current 45 million. To sustain the increased population, more wild animals were hunted and more trees were cut down. As a result, more animal attacks were reported in the past year, as wild animals are facing starvation. Kenyan government has been in action to tackle this tough challenge. Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York City, announced Tuesday that he is considering a new law that would prohibit smoking in city parks and on city beaches. For the smokers, the new ban means that they will find it's very difficult for them to find a smoking place. It's another measure restricting smoking in the United States after a high tobacco tax was introduced in the country. New York City has 14 miles of beaches and some 1,700 parks, playgrounds, and recreation facilities. According to Bloomberg, the new move will not only guarantee fresh air in public places, but also help reduce trash from butts and cigarette packages. At present, tourists in Crystal Beach, Boulevard Peninsula of Texas cannot enjoy their holidays as previous years. The black oil slick has reached there. The state officials have confirmed that the oil is from the Gulf of Mexico. Impacted by the oil spill disaster, the popular holiday resort has few tourists this year. So far, the environmental disaster has polluted 5 U.S. coastal states, including Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida.
Swiss solar power plant taking off for the first ever 26-hour non-stop flight using solar energy. Solar Impulse took off at dawn Wednesday and successfully landed in Switzerland at 9:00 a.m. Thursday. It is the first solar-powered aircraft in aviation history to fly through the night without fuel. It was recharged with solar power during the day flight, while the stored energy kept it in the air during the night trip. Organizer of the project said it is incredible to fly more than 26 hours without traditional fuel and emission. A job well done by 70 team members and 80 partners who have worked 7 years on the solar power plant. On July the 4th, China released 150,000 yellow croaker and hairtail minnows back to East China Sea. The country hopes it can help restore its battered marine resource system and ecosystem. The 150,000 minnows consist of 6 species, including yellow croaker and cuttlefish. Meanwhile, another fishing vessel also dumped into sea 2 million adult yellow croakers. The event was organized by Zhejiang Oceanic and Fishery Bureau and Marine Fishery Bureau of Ministry of Agriculture. The organizer planned to invest 13 million yuan or $1.9 million in ecosystem restoration.
At the end of our talk, we'll take you to the Vienna Water School, a special school with only 1 classroom, 1 teacher, and 1 class.
In the 10th district of Vienna, there is such a special school called Vienna Water School, which has just 1 classroom and 1 teacher. The school has courses 5 times a week, from Monday to Friday, and its students are some 8 to 15-year-old children coming from a primary school of Vienna.
Am besten ist es, in der Schule anzufangen, so früh als möglich mit den Kindern.
The Vienna Water School has its classroom converted from a power station that closed in 1971. In the past 5 years, an annual average of 2,500 children attended the classes here. Maslow uses pictures, molds, and videos to explain the source of drinking water in Vienna, the source of a mountain spring, world water distribution, water circulation, as well as the knowledge of wastewater treatment. Maslow said he could clearly feel the change of children after attending classes and extracurricular excursion.
Dass das eine große Bedeutung hat und dass sie auch bewusster damit umgehen eben. Ja, und dass sie das Wasser auch sehr gerne trinken, weil sie jetzt genau wissen, von wo es herkommt. Und
For 5 years, Maslow has been teaching the same thing to his students. He believes his best repayment is the smile on his students' face while leaving school.
In our daily life, if each of us could actively promote the environmental conservation concept, we will undoubtedly create more miracles and embrace a brighter future. That's Green Voices for this week. Thank you, Doctor, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of Green Voices. We'll see you again next week.